This is 91.1 WNXP. I'm Jason Moon Wilkins. I am here with someone you know in a few different ways. Drummer from Paramore, leader of Half Noise, but now for the first time as a solo artist releasing music under his own name, Zac Farro. Welcome, Zac.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. We played your music under Half Noise. We've talked to you before about stuff. And so when this came out, I saw this release, Zac Farro releasing music under his own name. It begged the sort of obvious question, why? Why not Half Noise anymore? Why Zac Farro in this moment?
That's a good question. I don't think I've answered this yet. I think it just felt like time. I don't know. I felt as I was writing more personal songs for Half Noise, it made me question, like, am I just avoiding the obvious? Like, to just go under my own name, because I feel like Half Noise was it was a solo project, but it was, it was always sort of me leading it. And so, it was me leading it, but it was also like a band. Every time I wanted to include the band in all the videos if I could, or live, even though it was like a never changing band, but it just felt like, I don't know. I wanted to try to not, I also wanted to like make it a clear, path for everybody to find my music, because I feel like having Paramore, having Half Noise, having, like Congrats Records, having all these things was like, just made it clear path to the source,
Yeah.
cut to the chase kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and was that a decision you made before making the record? Or you were like, okay, I'm doing this as Zac Farro, this is how it's going. Or were you sort of in the process and thought, this is how I'm going to do it?
Well, honestly, for the last two Half Noise records, I was like questioning if I should, do it then.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel quite right. And so I went into this record with the intention of going under my own name. And I was like, still like, should it be Half Noise? But then as soon as we started recording, I was like, no, I know it's going to be my, under my own name. Yeah. And it was like kind of nerve wracking because, I've built, Half Noise for the last 10 years or so. And so you look at this thing that's already implemented and it's sort of like, well, is this going to be a good idea? Or like, or is anybody going to hear it? Or like, am I confusing people further? Like now it's my name and now, but it's felt really, the response has been remarkable. Honestly, I think it's like one of the best decisions musically I've made in a long time. I think it feels like things are really aligning. And it's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear something from it. Zac Farro, new album Operator that is out this week. Let's start with the song One. When you went into the studio, you told Rolling Stone that it was different than what you had done in the past, where you had more of an idea, you even had maybe an album title going in, that this was a little more free form.
Yeah.
When you went in, was there a moment where you went, oh, okay, I know what this is, I know what this album is going to be now? Is there a song that even, indicated that for you?
So I started writing Operator with my friend Matt Chancey beginning of 2024. And so we started we wrote like 18 ideas and then we left on the Eras tour. So it was like with Paramore. So we had to inevitably take like a really long break. So it felt kind of scattered. I'd like actually recorded half of started like the first half of the recording process for the song Second Chance, the number 2 track on the record, in Sweden while we were like on the Eras tour actually. And because we had so much time off in between the weekend shows, I would either play tennis or try to find like something to do. And my friend had a studio in Sweden, so we started demoing that out. So it's sort of like piecing together songs here and there, but it, I was like, I don't want to piece something together and then say, okay, it's done. I wanted to like write and then go in with my 2 friends. So I went in with my friend Matt Chancey and Josh Gilligan, who's an amazing, both of them are insane musicians, but Josh I know he's been on the show.
We love Josh.
I know y'all love him too, but I just hit them both up and I was like, I don't know what everybody's year's going to look like. And I know everybody has different paths and things. But the beginning of 2025, the first 2 weeks of the year, I want to like lock out of my studio, and we're not leaving. I just want to like leave. Does it feel like these records, like Is This It by the Strokes, or like you just hear this like through line of like they recorded that in one room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like in 1 month. They got it all and they captured it, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so
moment in time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think piecing and chipping away it is like one, thought process and one way to do it. But it's like kind of, it didn't feel right for this. It was kind of like, let's get in there, strike while the iron's hot. And so we went in, and I was like, I want to leave with the record after this. And I didn't know if we would, but we did. And I think the turning point, how I knew we had an album, was when we wrote the song, or we recorded the song My. We kind of like finished, I think it was One or Operator, one of the songs. And then I kind of looked at the guys and I was like, well, what do we do now? I guess we got to go to the next demo that we have and let's build it out. And Chancey was like listening to it, and we had it like, I kind of had it structured, like the keys and like a vocal melody. And he was like, I hear 12 string on this. And Josh and I were like, well, that's not, we didn't envision that at all, but sure, let's hear what. And he did that guitar pass in one take. And it was just like, we were both like, are we like allowed to play on the same song as you? Cause that was, it's like Chancey is like, has a gift unlike any other. He hears something and it's such a spiritual connection that he has to music. So I knew we had something great when that moment hit in the studio. I was like, okay, now we really have to wrap this thing up and really like stay in that zone and then don't look back, and we did. We just like finished it. It was so cold outside that we would just go into this like big warehouse next to my studio and like hit the tennis ball and then go back and play. Like we just locked ourselves in, and we like ordered pho broth every day. And it was just like, it felt like early days of Paramore or something, when we'd all like rehearse a ton and do pre-production and then record right away. Like that's how we used to make records. It wasn't over like a year of like, well, we're going to go back to the studio in January and then chip away. Like I would do that with Half Noise stuff too. It'd be like, oh, I'm working on this song. And then you open it up and you feel like a totally different person, like a year later, I'm like, I don't even know if I connect to this song at all, which I don't know. Maybe that means it's not a good song, but maybe not. But I don't know. There's something where you're like,
it is that moment in time. Like you're saying, I remember those moments of like, there's a great studio in Nashville called Alex the Great that has a little ping pong table in the next room. And that's the way 90s, even into early aughts, you made records, right? You're locked in, like, and you capture that moment in time, as opposed to, I don't think it means it's a bad song, but you truly change over a year,
Yeah. Well, I think ADHD that I think plays into that, where I'm like, okay, I'm bored. Don't want to work on this anymore. So that was, it was helpful for the way I process things and work. So, yeah.
Well, let's listen to that song. Here's My from Zac Farro's solo debut, Operator. We're here with Zac Farro, new album Operator, out this week. Release show happening on Saturday at the Blue Room. Zach, something I hear in this, and I've listened to the album, but I don't have liner notes, so I can't say like it was Josh Gilligan on this one or it's you playing guitar on this, but I do hear like a musical companion to your voice. Like the through lines in this to me are, funny enough, you being a drummer, are really your voice and the guitar. And the guitar changes tone. There's some Steely Dan in there. There's some George Harrison. There's some funk. There's all these different things. And I wonder for you, especially like you talked about in the making of this record being this sort of organic thing, did those tones, those guitar tones, then sometimes lead to the song developing in a slightly different way?
Totally. I mean, I definitely couldn't have made this record without Chancey. I mean, he's a Nashville-based musician that's like, profound doesn't really like do it justice. He's, he plays at, he like started the Invite at the Flamingo spot, and every Wednesday he does improv for like 5 hours, and he can just sit there and he's a savant. So he and I were trying for months to connect, and I kept canceling on him because I had stuff going, and I was like, I don't know if we're ever. I just had this guitar solo, and I was like, it'd be cool if he played this like Princey sounding guitar solo on a song that didn't make the record. And he came over and he did it in like 2 seconds, and then we were like, okay, well, what do we do now? Because we have the whole day. I thought that was going to take the whole day, but he did it in like literally like mouthed what I was thinking, and he was like this, and I was like, yeah, okay, now we have the whole afternoon. So we started writing. Actually, that afternoon, I'm remembering now, we wrote Sunday Driving that afternoon, that long ago. But he became the, like the musical vehicle that I sometimes can't quite, because I started as a drummer. I can find my way around, the piano or guitar or bass. I've made records like doing it all myself for the most part. But to have someone that you can just say, I'm feeling like this here, and not really know how to like musically explain it besides just a feeling, and then he right away, because also like having ADHD and having like a fast working mind, you want to click into something and not lose the moment. And so Chancey was just there every second. So Chancey was like definitely the counterpart of the record. And then Josh came in and sang all the background vocals. So I didn't touch a background vocal on that record. All of that is Josh. And he did all the pedal steel. So, and some synth. So it's mainly like Chancey on bass and guitar on everything, acoustic, and then Josh's pedal steel. So it's kind of, everybody had their like stations too, which is cool. Yeah. And I did all the drums and vocals, but and a few synths and stuff here and there. But Chancey definitely became that like counterpart that I have never had, really, like writing wise. I mean, I've had producers that have helped and like brought like an idea to fruition, but this was like, I found my writing partner. Like I found the person that I especially for Operator.
Yeah. Well, you can hear it. It's such a beautiful album all the way through.
Thank you.
I have songs that are my favorite on there, but You Are Here. Like, and not asking you to choose your favorite child or anything, but what's a song that you think, okay, we've played My My, we've played one. What's a song you think is very indicative of that sort of relationship of you and Chancey?
I mean, of Chancey and I mean, it probably would be Sunday Driving, because he started playing this chord progression that I was like, who the hell could sing over that? Like, what is that? It's so like fusion, like it's too good for my like 1, 2, 3, 4 rock drummer mind to like. I was like, and he was like, just like chill and like listen to it for a little bit, and like he would always do. And he also pushed me in that way, like musically, and we, So I'd say either Sunday Driving, or I'd love to play the song Operator, because like we kind of clicked in that way for that song too. But I actually want to play Operator, because I feel like that song, is it to play a song?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd say if you're listening, check out Sunday Driving when you get the record or listen to the record, but I'd like to play Operator because it's the title track.
Yeah, let's do that. Title track, Zac Farro, Operator, here on 91.1 WNXP. Thank you, Zac, for taking the time.
Thanks so much.